Prominent Dr. Martin Macneill was released from prison last week after serving time for fraud charges, but he is still a suspect in the 2007 death of his wife. And one of his daughters is convinced he did it. ABC's Cecilia Vega spoke with her, and she joins us now. Cecilia, Macneill's daughter now fears for her own life.
She really does, George. Good morning. While she is in Utah waiting for justice for her mother, she is terrified her father is capable of the worst. She calls him a monster. From the outside, they looked like a picture-perfect family. And Martin Macneill seemed like the perfect father, a handsome doctor and Mormon Sunday school teacher, seemingly in love with his beauty queen wife. But that image was shattered when Michelle Macneill was found dead in the bathroom of their family home 5 years ago.
I was falling in the bathtub.
Okay, is she conscious?
She's not. She's not on a position.
Martin Macneill sounded upset, but was he really?
When my father called and told me that my mother was in the tub and not breathing, I knew he killed her.
Alexis Summers says her father has lived a life of lies, false documents, extramarital affairs, and more.
The father I knew had never existed.
On Friday, Macneill was released from prison after serving 3 years for fraud. He's never been charged in the death of his wife. His daughter says he's getting away with murder.
It's horrifying knowing that he's out, knowing that he's walking around free.
In a search warrant filed last year, Utah County investigators lay out the seemingly perfect motive: Macneill's alleged affair with this woman, Gypsy Willis. It says the doctor intentionally overdosed his wife after she had plastic surgery, not long after she confronted him about the alleged affair. Michelle Macneill's autopsy initially concluded she died of natural causes. Later, investigators changed it to undetermined, saying new information raised suspicion. The combination of drugs in her body could have killed her. She may have been forced to take them.
A few days before her death, I was helping her wash her hair, and she turned to me and said, "Alexis, if anything happens to me, make sure it wasn't your father."
This weekend, Macneill returned to the same home where his wife's body was found. Prosecutors tell ABC News the investigation into her death remains open. And as long as it does, Alexis Summers says she will live in fear.
He's had some time to plan out his next move. I am very fearful of him, and my little sisters are very scared.
Macneill's daughter believes that investigators have all the evidence they need to charge her father, but again, because this case remains open, authorities are not saying much. Macneill's attorney, on the other hand, tells a Utah newspaper his client adamantly denies ever hurting his wife. George.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks. Let's bring in GMA legal analyst Dan Abrams. You've been digging into this case file as well. There is a lot of evidence out there.
Oh, I have almost never seen a case with this much evidence, this old, that there's no charges involved in the case yet. I mean, you have before and after her death, you have evidence. Now, there's no question the police did not treat this as a crime scene the way that they should have, and that's going to present some challenges. But according to his daughter, it's not just that she was having plastic surgery and that he gave her too many drugs. He basically forced her to get plastic surgery.
She didn't want to do it.
She didn't want to do it. So he gets her to have plastic surgery and then starts giving her drugs, according to the daughter, that she doesn't want to take.
But you talk about the challenges. Initially, they didn't even rule this a homicide. They still haven't ruled it a homicide.
Yeah.
They just say the cause of death is undetermined.
Yeah, and look, and that's going to make it a challenge, but that's something that's curable. I mean, you think about a case, for example, let's take the Scott Peterson case, sitting on death row. We're talking about his appeal the other day. I think after digging through this case file for hours last night, that there is more evidence against Macneill than there was against Scott Peterson.
So is it just a matter of time?
I think it's just a matter of time before they charge him. Because remember, they also have after the fact, too, which is he has this girlfriend who he has move in, treats her as the nanny, literally tries to take the identity of one of his adopted daughters, takes that daughter and brings her back to the Ukraine where she was adopted from, and allegedly leaves her there. I mean, there are so many facts in this case, so many bizarre twists about his background. And you even have the daughters saying, we can't believe we didn't know this guy who was our father.
And is there anything now the police can do to protect her? She's saying she fears for her life.
I've got to believe they're keeping a very close eye on him. I mean, I've got to think that they're going to be pretty close to charging him, and as a result, he's on probation. They've got the ability to keep a close watch on him, and I think that they're going to do that.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.